Hello, we are coming to you live once again from Snowflake Summit in Las Vegas. And not just any day at Snowflake Summit, but the day of our big announcement on native app functionality. I am so excited to be here with Steve and Tim from now Affinio. I got a preview a couple of weeks or months ago when we met. I got to learn not only a lot about Nova Scotia, but also about your native app that you were building. And as a marketer, I was particularly interested in what you're able to offer up. So please tell me a little bit more about what it actually is.
Yeah, no, it's great to be here, and we're super excited, obviously, about the announcement finally, Malery. So what we've built is a suite of apps, actually, within the native app marketplace that enable marketers to basically do more with the data that's stored inside Snowflake. And so fundamentally, at the very core of what we've built is a custom-built graph technology, and all that means is that we analyze data differently, sort of looking at the connections inside the data itself, as opposed to just rows or counts of data. And so what that means to a marketer is a deeper understanding of their customers by looking at and identifying common patterns across massive data sets. So for you and I, obviously, meaningful things like the questions that get answered or asked a lot are relative to things like, of people who bought X, what else did they buy, right? I mean, a very, very easy question, but very, very hard to answer in a lot of cases with a massive data set. And so our apps are starting to enable people to dig deep into their customer profile, understand their customers better. And on top of that, building on top of that, we can start to go into things like propensity modeling. We've enabled clustering on top of Snowflake directly inside of these native apps. So suddenly you can get a really rich profile of your customer through these apps. And the key, obviously, with native apps is never having to move the data, never having to extract it from Snowflake, and therefore never exposing any sensitive data to anybody who doesn't need to see it.
That's awesome. We chatted a little bit earlier, and I heard there was an interesting journey that you took on the way to joining this program, some things you might have started. I'd love to hear more about that.
Yeah, so it was probably about 3 years ago that we specifically recognized, Stephen and I had a conversation right around that time where we had requests from customers that we had about utilizing our technology, this graph technology, on their own first-party data. And what we recognized very early on is for many of the large enterprise organizations with privacy regulations, they'd never be able to send us the data for us to process in our own cloud. Mm-hmm. So we had to make the decision, and the decision that we made at that time was to explore containerizing our technology so that we could deploy the tech into their private cloud so that they could use it on their first-party data. Problem was is that as soon as we started to do that, people immediately started asking for, if it's on Azure, can I do it on AWS? Can I do it on GCP? So we quickly recognized the fact that that wasn't going to scale for us. And right around that same time was the time when we actually saw the usage and utility of Snowflake, saw it as cross-cloud, and took an opportunity to basically port a lot of that same technology that we had containerized into the secure UDFs. And that started our journey towards basically what is now the native app format that we've deployed.
That's awesome. Steve, rumor has it that you had the, I'm sure, very simple and easy task of doing all the code for the native app. I'd love to hear from you, like, what should folks considering building an app think about? Like, what did you notice along the way? Yeah, tips and tricks.
So basically when we started, we were mainly focused on using secure UDFs because native apps didn't exist at the time. But now that they do exist, it makes the whole process a lot easier because we used to have really long SQL queries mixed in with the function calls that we'd make through the UDFs, but now we can package that all up into a stored procedure, which essentially gets installed with the application and then into the customer's Snowflake account, so that once they run the installer, they have access to all the different functionality that we've built and provisioned for them, and then they can run all our analysis very easily. So it's really easy to build software inside of Snowflake and then deploy it to a customer's account.
That's incredible. So clearly both of you work with customers a lot or at cutting edge technology. Kind of the spirit of the show and the keynote this morning is around where we've been and where we're going. I'd love to hear, like, what do you think is next? What are you hearing that customers really need? What are you excited about in the next few years?
Well, I'm excited about the announcement they made this morning about the iceberg stuff. So,
great.
I really want to dig into that a little bit after the show to find out more about what's there and how we could potentially use it to help our customers analyze their data better or get access to more data as well. I'll let you.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing for me is certainly the movement of native apps into and putting the analytics at the source of the data itself, I think is going to be massively disruptive for many existing and large-scale SaaS businesses that exist that currently don't have that functionality. Honestly, I think is going to be a huge disruption in the market for SaaS businesses. And what you'll start to see is many of those organizations building native apps functionally into Snowflake to basically make sure that they don't lose that opportunity at scale.
Yeah, that's incredible. Well, Snowflake is so excited that you joined the program. We launched today. Where can folks go to learn more?
Absolutely, straight to the marketplace. I mean, that's the best place to actually find the native apps. We're going to be, they're now in public preview and starting to open up. So if they want to learn more, they're readily available. Like we said, we've been working on these a long time. We're excited to see them hit the market.
Awesome. All right, well, thank you both so much.